Because I grew up bullied my entire life, and it makes me aware of when people are staring at me.
They face mockery, bullying, and constant reminders that they didn't belong. Some due to their skin color, others because of unique conditions they couldn't hide. Yet instead of being defeated, they transformed those perceived flaws into remarkable strengths. Yup. From a girl once labeled Midnight who evolved into a Melanin Goddess,
I was bullied a lot by my classmates because of my skin color.
To a man whose mugshot catapulted him to the world's biggest fashion runways, these personalities didn't just beat the odds, they rewrote the entire playbook. Brace yourself for 15 extraordinary black individuals who defied the odds. Cudia Deop. She was called names like Midnight and Darky just for existing in her own skin. But instead of hiding, Cudia Deop did something that shut the haters all the way down. She turned her deepest insecurity into her biggest flex, and today she's rewriting the entire narrative on beauty. So how did a bullied teen from Senegal end up becoming a global icon? Cudia Deop was just 15 when she moved to Paris, and let's just say people weren't subtle about her deep skin tone. Every day she got hit with nasty comments, but instead of shrinking into the background, she chose to go bold. This girl wasn't gonna let anyone dim her shine. By 17, she was modeling, and not just for any small-time gigs. She became the face of the Colored Girl campaign, standing tall and proud, unapologetically showcasing her melanin-rich beauty. Social media caught on fast. Within days of going viral, she racked up over 300,000 followers and counting. Folks were shook, in the best way. And here's the wild part. She once said she used to wish she was lighter. Now, her very skin is her power, her brand, her message. She calls herself the Melanin Goddess. And honestly, it fits perfectly. Her story isn't just about modeling, it's about reclaiming identity, smashing Eurocentric beauty standards, and showing the world what real representation looks like. Who would have thought that the same skin tone people tried to shame her for would one day launch her into global stardom? Bet they're quiet now. Nyakim Gatwatch. Nyakim Gatwatch didn't just walk into the modeling world. She stormed in, rocking the kind of skin tone that made people uncomfortable, only because it challenged everything they thought beauty was supposed to be. Born in Ethiopia to South Sudanese parents, Nyakim grew up knowing what struggle felt like. People didn't just mock her, they told her straight up, bleach your skin. One Uber driver even offered her $10,000 to do it. But Nyakim, she wasn't built to break. She took every insult, every ignorant comment, and turned it into fuel. Her skin wasn't a burden, it was a crown, dubbed the Queen of the Dark. She didn't run from the name, she claimed it. She flipped the script on an industry that once tried to shut her out and made them watch her rise. Now she's the face of bold campaigns, walking elite runways, and using her platform to crush Eurocentric beauty standards under the heel of her stiletto. She's not just a model, she's a movement. Winnie Harlo. They called her Cowface. Kids laughed, adults stared, and the modeling world, they said she didn't stand a chance. But Winnie Harlo didn't just prove them wrong. She crushed every doubt under the weight of her spotlight. Born Chantel Brown Young in Canada, Winnie was diagnosed with vitiligo at just 4 years old. It's a condition that causes patches of skin to lose pigment, and people around her treated it like a curse. She was bullied hard, like changing schools kinda hard. But here's the twist. The very thing she was mocked for became her superpower. Her breakthrough moment came when Tyra Banks spotted her on Instagram and cast her in America's Next Top Model. And boom, Winnie became the first model with vitiligo to ever appear on the show. But even then, people doubted her. She didn't win the competition, but she didn't need the crown to start a revolution. Fashion houses came calling. Runways, billboards, global campaigns. Winnie wasn't just walking in shows. She was breaking barriers with every step. She once said, "I'm not a vitiligo sufferer. I'm not a victim." That's power. That's resilience. She's not just changing beauty standards, she is the new standard. Simone Thompson. She walked into the fashion world with a shaved head, a tooth gap, tattoos, and zero interest in playing by anyone else's rules. Simone Thompson, better known as Slick Woods, didn't just defy the odds, she bulldozed right through them. Her life started in chaos. Her mom was sent to prison when she was just a baby, and Slick was tossed around foster homes like a forgotten file. She was homeless at times, living wild on the streets of Los Angeles, But even with no roof over her head, she had something most people didn't: fearless energy. That same energy caught the eye of model Ash Stymist, and her modeling career exploded. Slick didn't come to fit in. She came to shock the system. And she did. Bald head? Check. Gritty attitude? All day. No polished image, no fake smile. Just raw, unapologetic truth. Major brands couldn't get enough. Fenty, Moschino, Calvin Klein. Slick wasn't just in the campaigns. She was the campaign. She took everything the industry considered too much and made it high fashion. Jara Eelana. She didn't speak a word, but one photo of her face stopped the entire internet. Jara Eelana was just 5 years old when her portrait went viral, and folks weren't just impressed, they were shook. She didn't speak a word, but one photo of her face stopped the entire internet. Headlines crowned her the most beautiful girl in the world. But behind the flash and fame, a story way deeper than just looks. Born in Nigeria, Jara wasn't a trained model. She didn't grow up on runways or red carpets. She was just a little girl living an ordinary life, until photographer Mofe Bamuyiwa snapped that iconic shot. No filters, just Jara's piercing gaze and radiant dark skin, captured in its raw, powerful beauty. In a world obsessed with Eurocentric standards, Jara's photo was a cultural reset. Dark-skinned black girls were rarely celebrated like this, especially not in high fashion. So, when her image blew up across the globe, it wasn't just viral, it was historic. Offers from modeling agencies poured in. Fashion mags wanted her. People were stunned by her elegance, poise, and natural drip at only 5 years old. And as she's grown, she's continued to stun the world with grace far beyond her years. Jara didn't chase fame. It found her. She stands as a living reminder that black beauty isn't just valid, it's untouchable. Nikkia Phoenix. Born in South Carolina, Nikkia grew up being constantly reminded she didn't fit the typical beauty mold. She got side eyes, backhanded compliments, and plenty of flat-out rejections. Modeling agencies brushed her off. People questioned her look like it was a mistake. She was told she was too different to ever make it. Freckles, deep brown skin, red undertones, everything about Nikkia Phoenix screamed unique. And the industry? They weren't ready for it. But that didn't stop her. One day, while simply grabbing a cup of coffee in LA, a scout from Alternative Apparel spotted her. From that moment, everything flipped. Her face, once dismissed, was suddenly everywhere. Billboards, major campaigns, magazines. Nikkia was no longer an outsider. She was the moment. But she didn't stop at modeling. She founded Black Girl Beautiful, a movement and marketplace that uplifts women of color and challenges narrow beauty standards from the inside out. Nikkia wasn't just breaking into the industry. She was rebuilding it. Remy Yatara. Remy Yatara's journey isn't stitched from silk and sparkle. It's tough, untamed, and almost too wild to believe. Born in the Ivory Coast during a violent civil war, Remy's childhood was stolen by chaos. At just 7 years old, he and his family fled for their lives, landing in a refugee camp in Guinea. No safety, no comfort, just survival mode, day after day. But even in that darkness, Remy carried one thing that couldn't be taken: a dream. Eventually, his family made it to the US, but life didn't magically get easier. He faced language barriers, culture shock, racism, you name it. And yet, there was something magnetic about him. He got scouted unexpectedly, and just like that, a boy who once ran from war was now strutting down high-fashion runways. But Remy didn't stop at modeling. He launched his own creative platform, About Remy, and started sharing his story, loud and proud. Today, he's more than a model. He's a voice for displaced youth, a face of resilience, and a symbol that no background, no matter how painful, can limit your future. Ducky Thought. With each fierce stride and unflinching stare, Ducky Thought redefined modern beauty, turning the industry's expectations on their head. Born in Melbourne to South Sudanese refugee parents, Ducky grew up feeling like the odd one out. In a country where she was often the only black girl in the room, she faced cruel comments, isolation, and ignorance from every direction. When she joined Australia's Next Top Model, the attacks only got louder. People mocked her for her skin, called her hair too difficult, and producers barely showed her true essence on screen. So she disappeared for a whole year. But Ducky didn't disappear to hide. She disappeared to transform. And when she came back legendary. She moved to New York and broke into the global scene with a force no one could ignore. From Rihanna's Fenty Beauty to Balmain and Yeezy, Ducky became the face of campaigns that once would have slammed the door in her face. Her dark skin, coily hair, and African roots? Now they're seen as high fashion. She made the very thing she was bullied for become her signature, her strength, her crown. Rissikat. In a place where being different can be dangerous, Rissikat's albinism made her a target from the start. Nigeria's cultural stigma nearly broke her, but instead, she broke the mold. She stood tall, spoke louder, and shined brighter than anyone thought possible. As a child, she endured bullying that cut deep. People treated her like she was cursed, like her skin made her less. In school, she was called names, ridiculed in the streets, and even faced exclusion from her own community. But she didn't let the ignorance define her. She turned it into fire. Rissikot shattered every barrier in her path. She became a fierce advocate for people with albinism, using her voice to educate and fight back against stigma. But that's not all. She stepped into the fashion world, lit up stages with her boldness, and earned global respect for her fearlessness. She blended activism, art, and culture, becoming a symbol of resistance and representation. Today, she's known not just for her striking appearance, but for the impact she's made in dismantling dangerous stereotypes across Africa and beyond. Jalicia Nightingale. Growing up, Jalicia Nightingale was constantly singled out. Kids called her a witch, strangers avoided her, and people whispered behind her back. Her striking blue eyes and dark skin made her stand out, and not always in a good way. But instead of letting the ignorance wear her down, she used it as fuel to push forward. Born and raised in Barbados, Jalicia looked nothing like those around her. Her rare eye color, caused by a recessive gene, made her the target of brutal bullying. Instead of compliments, she got questions like, "What's wrong with your face?" Or worse, people assuming she was possessed. But here's where it flips. What once made her feel alienated became her biggest asset. Jalicia eventually moved to Switzerland, where the fashion industry saw what her hometown couldn't. Her unforgettable stare, stunning features, and powerful presence caught the attention of photographers and designers worldwide. And just like that, the girl once mocked for being too strange became the face of high fashion campaigns. Today, she's more than a model. She's a voice for embracing uniqueness, a walking reminder that difference isn't something to fix. It's something to celebrate.
Okay, now it's time for the open discussion.
Look closely. This isn't fiction. One man painted in stripes, crowned in skulls, the other cloaked in feathers, clutching ancient power in his hand. Two cultures, two mysteries, caught in one photo. Are they preserving dying traditions or reviving something even older? Either way, this isn't something you see every day. Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to mention #OpenDiscussion. Ralph Souffrant. Ralph Souffrant didn't just walk into the modeling world. He straight up blew it open. He lit up the runway with something no one saw coming: freckles. Tons of them. Born in Haiti and raised in Brooklyn, Ralph grew up looking completely different from anyone around him. His deep brown skin covered in freckles made him stand out, and not always in a good way. Kids at school didn't get it. They mocked him, bullied him, made him feel like he didn't belong. For years, he stayed quiet, kept his head down, and just tried to blend in. But blending in, that was never his destiny. While studying dermatology and training as a track athlete, Ralph was randomly scouted near a modeling event during New York Fashion Week. Within weeks, his face was everywhere. Calvin Klein, Yeezy Season 3, Nike, ASOS, you name it. His look wasn't just different, it was electric. And get this, he even hit the runway with a full-body eczema flare-up. That's how real he is, just pure, unapologetic confidence. Now, he's not just repping fashion brands, he's repping every kid who ever got teased for looking too different. His freckles became his fire, and his fire, it's straight up unstoppable. Lucky. Nikkia Phoenix. Lucky, better known as Lucky, a model who went from jail mugshot to high fashion runway king. He went viral for all the wrong reasons, but flipped it into something no one saw coming. Back in 2016, Lucky's arrest photo hit the internet like wildfire. Why? His one-of-a-kind face, deep brown skin, a piercing ice blue eye from a rare condition called heterochromia, and bone structure that screamed high fashion. People couldn't stop sharing his mugshot. He was literally dubbed Prison Bae overnight. But Lucky wasn't just a viral moment. He was about to make major moves. Despite a past filled with trouble, multiple arrests, a rough upbringing, he got scouted by a modeling agency that saw past the record and straight into his potential. And boy, did he prove them right. He started booking gigs with Philip Plein, walking New York Fashion Week, and starring in editorial shoots that left the fashion world shook. He's repping brands worldwide, flipping his image from a cautionary tale to a celebration of second chances. Lucky didn't just break the mold, he torched it. Meghan and Morgan. One look, and the world couldn't believe what it was seeing. Meghan and Morgan Boyd, famously known as the True Blue Twins, didn't just go viral, they exploded onto the internet. With rich brown skin and piercing crystal blue eyes, these twin sisters from Philadelphia shattered every idea of what beauty is supposed to look like. Born in 2011, the girls instantly stood out. Their unique eye color, a genetic rarity in African-American children, left doctors, strangers, even social media, completely stunned. People thought the photos were edited, but nope, those icy blue eyes, 100% real. Their mom, Stephanie Boyd, knew her daughters were special and started sharing their photos online. The internet lost it. Within days, they were viral sensations. Magazines, influencers, even celebrities started reposting them. Everyone wanted to know, who are these girls? But here's the thing, Meghan and Morgan are more than just a viral moment. They're modeling, doing brand campaigns, and using their growing platform to represent Black beauty in ways the industry rarely shows. At such a young age, they're already showing the world that being different isn't something to hide. It's something to own. And with their bold style, magnetic energy, and unstoppable presence, it's clear. They're just getting started. Mukasa Kakong. He's the face shifting the lens of fashion. But Mukasa Kakong's story runs deeper than bold prints and perfect poses. It's about perseverance, about breaking through a system that wasn't built for him. Born to Ugandan parents and raised in Toronto, Mukasa grew up in a world where being Black and artistic wasn't exactly encouraged. He was the only dark-skinned boy in most of his classes, the only one into style, visual arts, and self-expression when everyone else was trying to blend in. Teachers told him to focus on realistic goals. Some casting agents flat out told him his look was too ethnic for mainstream campaigns. But Mukasa didn't tone it down. He turned it up. After being rejected from multiple agencies early on, he started photographing and styling himself, building his own visual identity online. Slowly, his content started gaining traction, not just for the aesthetic, but for the statement. He wasn't modeling to fit in, he was modeling to represent. His breakthrough came when a major magazine reposted one of his DIY shoots. Suddenly, designers who'd once overlooked him started calling back. Now, he's fronting editorial spreads and walking runways. Not just as a model, but as a creative force reshaping the image of Black masculinity in fashion. Mukasa represents a new wave. He doesn't just wear the clothes, he authors the moment. And behind every shot is the quiet triumph of someone who got tired of waiting for approval and gave it to himself. Adit. What began in South Sudan became one of fashion's most powerful journeys. Adit didn't just defy expectations, she became a symbol of what's possible. Adit's journey started in Kenya, where she lived in a refugee camp before moving to Australia at just 7 years old. She didn't speak English. She got bullied for her dark skin and different look, but none of that could dim her fire. At 16, she booked her first major show, and it wasn't just any show. It was Saint Laurent. That's right, one of the biggest fashion houses in the world gave her the stage, and she owned it. Since then, she's walked for Chanel, Versace, Valentino, Dior. She's graced the covers of Vogue and been crowned Model of the Year by Models.com. But Adit isn't just a fashion icon. She's an outspoken advocate for refugees, using her platform to speak up for millions who don't get heard. She's the face of high fashion and human rights. And she's just getting started. That's it. Proof that the odds never stood a chance. Hit like if you're feeling that power. Subscribe so the next legend doesn't pass you by. Share this with someone who needs to stop doubting and start doing.